The inflammatory tweets are to get people's attention, to direct them to the truth of the reality of the criminal vermin who are running American politics, Bushes and Clintons, and of course, the old serial murderer, Lyndon Johnson. I curse sometimes, but my main goal is education and information delivery. And sometimes you have to be a little bit inflammatory to get people's attention. Remember, I've been emailing and talking to the Austin media for 10 years on all these topics. All the TV stations, all the radio stations, all the print media, Texas Monthly, Texas Tribune. Oh, and they all wanted to ignore Robert for 10 years. Now they all want to talk to me, Sean.
You won an election.
So, yeah, the people have spoken. I grew up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
And tell me about your family and your father's business.
My dad was a respected real estate investor and member of the community, both politically and with charity and so forth. He was a good man. My mother was, a good mother raising 2 kids in the 1970s. I'm a child of the 1970s. And so I grew up in a middle class, then later an upper class lifestyle, because my dad was making money. He's a successful businessman, And I've got a good brother named David Morrow, very, very, very well respected back in my hometown of Tuscaloosa. And so I was lucky to have a peaceful childhood, and not everybody has that, with parents and grandparents who made sure that I read and got educated. Oh, my dad was, and my mother, racially liberal, coming from Alabama, and so I've always been socially liberal on race issues from a young age, And so my dad, being in real estate, he was, I think he helped build some of the first public housing in Tuscaloosa, and he worked with the people there who desegregated that, and the black activists, who had an interest in desegregation. But my dad was not a civil rights activist at all. I think he opposed the 1964 Civil Rights Act, but he was very much as every single white person in Alabama did, okay, pretty much. But he had to work with people of all races and colors in his business, and he did.
Was he a Democrat or a Republican?
My dad was a businessman, kind of like Donald Trump, okay? So he'd work with whoever's in power. So he was good friends with the Democratic senators of his era. I came to Austin to attend grad school at the University of Texas, mainly because I didn't get in Harvard, Wharton, or Stanford Business School, thank God, because Austin's so much of a better town. I mean, I could not believe when I got here, how nice it was, how many beautiful girls were running around. But man, it was a nice place to go to grad school in the late 1980s in Austin. So I consider that, somebody upstairs was looking out for me when that happened.
And then you went back to Alabama and worked for the company in business?
Yeah. My dad was in poor health then. He was dying, and so I came back, with intentions of working at the family business.
And why did you leave Alabama again?
It just didn't work out at the family business. Sometimes that happens. And I liked Austin too, so.
What didn't work out? Did you?
Just, conflict with certain people who were there, and either they're going to go or I'm going to go, and that's just the way it is.
What was the conflict about?
I'm not going to go into that.
So you came here and you started Morrow Ventures?
Morrow Ventures is a business partnership that I had. Oh, Morrow Ventures. Yeah, here locally. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. But there's very little economic activity going on in Morrow Ventures, Inc.
Is that where you do your investing?
No.
You do that personally?
Yes.
And we talked about it, but what type of investing do you do?
I'm a self-employed investor, and I'll leave it at that.
You mentioned then that you had what you called it, a volunteering phase.
I started out as a CASA volunteer, court-appointed special advocate. I think I was a very good one at that in the late 1990s. And then after that, I think I volunteered for Big Brother, Big Sister for a little bit. And then I did some mentoring for a year or two.
You don't have kids, but it seems like you have an appreciation for hosting activities in the neighborhoods with kids.
Well, for a long time, I used to host the neighborhood Easter egg hunt.
Tell me about the toys that are here on the table.
Well, these are toys for little kids and big kids. I still haven't figured out how to do a Rubik's Cube. That might be a nice thing to learn how to do to impress people. And I've got a Magic 8 ball that doesn't work anymore. And I had a really cool ball. Here's one right here. This is like a little magic happy ball. And everything on here is like positive reinforcement. So let's see what this one says. This one says, look on the bright side. And you shake it around something else, like, wow. Who says you're stupid? How about that, Sean? Who says you're stupid?
You have a lot of thoughts about these national figures, but it sounds like you don't have any plans to disrupt life for the local Republican officials who you're really going to have to, or you really have power over to some extent now.
I don't have any power over them, and a lot of them are good people. I would say almost every Republican thinks that Gerald Daugherty is a good guy. Everybody I talk to, Don Zimmerman's very popular locally. Greg Abbott's probably a really good governor. He's a lot better than Rick Perry. So they know they know I'm dishing out a lot of truth. A lot of these people do. And as far as locally, my only concern is to make sure that the nuts and bolts machinery of the Travis County Republican Party keeps operating competently. However, I do have a bully pulpit right now, and boy, am I going to use it.
Okay, so maybe on an operational level, the county party doesn't have as much to fear.
Well, I'm very green, and I'm going to have to learn a lot. So these folks, it's in their interest to educate me and keep the nuts and bolts and the machinery of the Travis County Republican Party operating. I'll be glad to facilitate that, but they're not going to shut me up. Okay, that's not negotiable.
What would you do if, like Matt Makowiak is talking about possibly starting a new party, or what if he finds some way to prevent you from either taking office or using power? Would you sue?
Who cares about Mac Makowiak? Or how's his name pronounced? I thought it was pronounced douchebag. He's pushing on a string. He has no legal recourse. All the smarter minds in Travis County know that, Republican, Democrat, and media. So I don't care what he does. He's pretty irrelevant. He's not going to be the vice chair of the Travis County Republican Party in a few months, that's for sure.